How fortunate to wake up in a warm bed. How fortunate to have a full tummy. Coffee. Costa Rican coffee. After my meeting with Wirecast, I'll have a hot shower. And something I often say is, and there's no war nearby. This is not a given. There's a new war happening. Of course, there's several others going on. Strange, isn't it? Makes the imperative of practice even greater, I think. Wouldn't it be extraordinary if our practice this morning could touch the heart of the Vladimir Putin psychopath and have him actually contemplate what he's doing? There's a lot of psychopaths around. So let's do what we can to bring sanity into the world, the place where we have the greatest purchase, the greatest leverage, is with our own little piece of Indra's web that comes together right here. And the reading I had chosen doesn't seem right now. I think I'm going to revert to this other possibility. A poem by Kim Stafford. It's called Champion the Enemy's Need. Ask about your enemy's wounds and scars. Seek their hidden cause of trouble. Feed the enemy's children. Learn their word for home. Repair their well. Learn their sorrow's history. Trace the lineage of the good. Ask them for a song. Make tea and break bread. Here comes that unpleasant voice. Thank you, Jamie. Just reminded me.
Recording in progress.
Ask about your enemy's wounds and scars. Seek their hidden cause of trouble. Feed your enemy's children. Learn their word for home. Repair their well. Learn their sorrow's history. Trace their lineage of the good. Ask them for a song. Make tea. Break bread. So let us come to practice in the name of our common humanity, our utter vulnerability in the face of planetary events. Coming home to now, let us remember, call to mind, call to heart, the refuge in the Buddha. The refuge in the Buddha. No matter what is happening in us and around us, it is possible and perhaps essential to take refuge in being awake. To know what's happening. To be aware. Refuge in the Dharma. Sabbe sankhara anicca, said the Buddha. All conditioned phenomena are impermanent. All of the structures, all of the relationships, all of the places of surety and stability ultimately will dissolve. And we can face this indirectly and fear. Or we can turn directly home and face the journey with less and less fear and more love. I take refuge in the Sangha. It's another morning. We rise and come together. True friendship. Where we can look at one another and say, your physical safety and health and psychological and spiritual development are important to me. I will go far out of my way to be of support as needed. It's like the old image of the barn raising. Someone needs a barn, and so Saturday morning we'll all be here early and cooking will be happening and everyone will bring their tools, and by evening there will be a barn. Another family will be equipped. And here we build a different kind of barn. We build a place of refuge and support and encouragement to really pull out the tools of mindfulness and concentration, the precepts, and to build ourselves the safety that really is possible only through inner development. And so now let us take this most powerful action, which is to do very little. Let us sit comfortably upright. And as the Buddha put it, placing mindfulness before them, relinquishing covetousness and grief concerning the world, letting go of the past and future, landing right here. And as a turner or a turner's apprentice observes when working on a lathe, I am doing a long turn or I am doing a short turn. Clearly present. We can take up mindfulness of breathing and notice, is this a short breath or a long breath? How present, how intimately can we each embrace, incarnate as in breathing. As out breathing. And of course, there may well be wandering mind. And this very same paying attention to the present moment allows and facilitates a mysterious capacity to know, to wake up in the midst of wandering minds. To wake up in the midst of the trance of personality. The trance of wanting or not wanting. The trance of patriotism. The trance of hatred, lust, restlessness, agitation, worry, sloth and torpor. The trance of doubt. The trance of those emotions that convince us, they're very convincing, that they're real and they're permanent. And so we sit together, right in the very middle of our life. Sounds come. Sounds go. We might check internally. Why is it that we're sitting here? Is it to check off the box for today, I did my meditation? Is it in the hope of having a more pleasant day? Is it because we'd be a better person if we do? Maybe it gets mixed up with an old tradition that says I'll go to heaven if I'm a good person. Maybe it's because you don't have a choice anymore. Because the magnitude of the stakes have become obvious. How curious are you? This body is breathing. It has a finite number of breaths left. And so this very breath right now, this incarnation right now, can be received with profound interest. Time and again the mind wanders. And somehow mindfulness comes into being. The light of mindfulness shines on everything without distinction. It's like the sun. So one could be awakening from a worry or from a beautiful thought. One could be awakening from depression, excitement. So mindfulness arises, and then the lights are on. And then there's the choice, which we can make when we have an intention to come home to breathing as our primary object. Could be something else, could be the posture. Could be a mantra. But then we have what's called the initial application. We actually find the sensations of breathing and apply awareness there. And then there's what's called sustained application. We persist in keeping awareness with the breath. For half a breath, for 2 breaths, for 10 breaths, for 100 breaths. And as we manage this, there's a kind of tranquility that comes. There's a kind of quiet joy. There's a deep sense of freedom from the tyranny of whatever the mind wants to think about. There is this coming home to the present moment. Right now, with this breath. How interested is the mind in what's happening right now? Sometimes there's skittering on the surface. Kind of losing sight of what we're doing. And of course, we practice with love. Love in that particular meaning that there's room for everything. There's room for breathing in and breathing out. There's room for hatred and fear and jealousy and restlessness. There's room for compassion and love and caring, patience and tolerance, equanimity. And please, bringing awareness now into the buttocks and thighs. Into the hands and fingers, the cheeks, the nose, the eyes. And with great tenderness, please let your eyes open. Notice the effort it takes, and then notice the mystery of seeing. And I want to share something with you this morning that has a visual component and an audio component. This is the robertbeatty.com website. Oh, wait a minute. I need to do one more thing on sharing this. I hope I can pull this off this morning. Here we go. Optimize for video. 25 or 30 years ago, I heard the writings of the third Chinese patriarch of Zen, the Trust in the Heart Sutra. And it's here, down at the very bottom. People often don't get here on the website. And it's this that I'm going to play for you if I can. Jim, do you have sound? Oh, I have my headset unplugged. I can't even tell.
Is not visible for those who are not identified.
It's fine.
Preferences.
Have you got sound, Jim?
Yes. Well, now it went away.
Really? Still? Well, now I've stopped it, haven't I? Let me try again. Sound now?
No.
That's very frustrating. One moment, please. Well, it's not so nice when it doesn't work. Please bear with me. Just stay mindful. What the heck? So here it is in the background. So this, Robert SharePod Pro. You had it for a second.
Robert, I think the sound went away when you plugged in your headphone.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to try this. Now, trying again.
The great way is not difficult for those who are not identified with their
Now there's no video.
When love and hate are both
Well, that makes sense, actually. I can see why. All right, here we go. Fifth time is the charm. Oh, no, that's ending the screen share. Oh, boy. All right, here we go. Trying again.
the great way is not difficult for those who
No.
are not identified with their preference.
Not working?
No sound.
When love
Oh, well. Well, I will ask for help today. Oh, now it's weird on my end, too. Ha! It's a lot to make it all work.
I had sound, it was just quiet.
Well, I'm going to bail for now. Thank you all for bearing with that. So, I don't feel inclined to make announcements. I think I'd like to know what's happening with you. Anything you'd like to share? On this 1,250,723rd day of human consciousness.
Good morning, Robert.
I hear Sandra, but I can't see her. Wave, would you? Oh, there you are. Okay. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering if you could perhaps give me some pointers on how to think about a situation at work.
I'll try.
Well, that might work. So there's a person.
Go left.
Well, maybe that's all I need. Just go left. Somebody at work attacked me, verbally, and told me all the things that was wrong with me.
Oh, that's very handy.
It is handy for the practice, but I could just use a little bit of help about how not to take it too personally. I know that there's probably, reasons why that person decided to say what she said.
Yeah.
But still, this body or this being, still took, the brunt of it. And I'm just trying to work it out, so instead of being at peace in the meditation session this morning, it's more about thinking about how to work it out.
Yeah.
And I think part of, what we're doing here is that we're opening, becoming more sensitive. And then when somebody does, attack, it's sort of, whoa, I didn't have time to put up the shields.
Right. Well, and
Or in Buddhist, the Buddhist teachings, maybe that's it, is you don't put up the shields.
yeah, boy, it's a big thing, though, isn't it? To be because when we're attacked, it sets off survival issues. Because the verbal attack could well lead to a war, could lead to physical assault, and we're very funny. I've been teaching meditation since the beginning of my career, but for a long time, I was teaching it as stress management because I could get hired to teach people stress management. And really, what I was doing was teaching a meditation mostly. But there was a kind of a set piece that I always talked about, that the amygdala, right? It's the fight-flight region of the brainstem. The amygdala has fiber optic connections to the brain, to the kidneys, to the adrenal glands, and it can go push, boom, and you're in fight flight. And it's a good thing because we would not have survived as individuals or as a species if we couldn't go into fight flight right like that. Because the cougar would have got the baby. Or, So, and then there's another connection, which is between the neocortex, where we can think and remember, and we can reflect, this poor person had a bad day at home this morning, and may they be protected and happy, and I'll be compassionate with them. That has the old kind of ring-a-ling phone. It's like, hello, Mabel, I want a line to the adrenals, and so we're very quickly into fight flight.
And that's the problem at work is that, I have very good fight flight.
Yeah.
Somebody at the grocery store, well, then I would just fight or flight.
Right.
But at work, there's a code of practice.
Right.
Code of conduct, and
right.
How to then navigate that.
So this is one strategy, which would be to get up very close to the person and say, you ever say that again, you're dead meat.
So you're not allowed to say that at work.
I understand that, and it probably wouldn't be skillful ever anyway. But so what to do? First thing would be to really recognize how upset part of you is. Right? To feel how terrified, angry, enraged, vindictive, wanting revenge, that there's a part of you that has all that. And in the context of the Buddha Dharma Sangha, to give that voice, maybe to sit and write it, to write what you'd like to say, or maybe even to speak it out loud. It's a Gestalt exercise, to speak it out loud at a pillow or something, to let that energy move through you in a low or zero karma way. Don't break anything, don't hurt yourself, probably don't do it around a partner, certainly don't do it around anyone who doesn't really understand what you're doing. And not very many people do understand that, mindful hate. And then there's a few things to remember, I think, to reflect upon. The first line here, I heard it twice in the Great Way thing I was trying to play for you. It starts with, the Great Way is not difficult for those, in the traditional translation it says, the Great Way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. That doesn't seem realistic to me. I prefer it, the Great Way is not difficult for those who are not overly attached to their preferences. And you have a strong preference. You don't want people to yell it and threaten and demean you. And so that's an attachment which causes suffering. And then there's the story, and this is a really interesting one to me, that some guy came to the Buddha. I mean, the Buddha he got attacked in so many different ways. There were 2 attempts on his life. But this guy comes in, and the Buddha most often could understand he had a strategy. He would listen to a person till he got the gist of where they were caught. And then he would talk to them about generosity and kindness, and then he'd talk about dukkha. He'd bring them around. He'd listen first. So this guy came in and was berating the Buddha in very ugly ways, and he just sat there. Didn't say a word. And the guy finally ran out of steam. Aren't you going to say anything? And he just ignored him. And the guy went away. And then, what's his name? Ananda, the Buddha's cousin and assistant for a long time, said basically, what was that? And the Buddha had a reply, which was, when you were a householder, Ananda, did you have guests? Why, yes. And did your guests sometimes bring you gifts? Yes. And sometimes when you discovered you didn't need their gift, did you let them take it home with them? Yes. And he said then, this man brought his gift of anger, hatred, and attack. And I let him take it home with him. Now that's an interesting context, of course, because it's the Buddha and all that. But if it's really essential, I believe, here I'm going into strong opinion, it's really essential that you take care of that hurt little girl in there who was attacked yesterday or whenever it was. And that she received the kindness and protection and care that she really needs. And that won't happen if your practice is just trying to be with your breath, right? The practice must be, you must turn toward that hurt, angry, desperate part of yourself and let it have voice. Let it be loved by you. And then there are other strategies you might do in terms of the work context. Sometimes it makes sense to file a complaint, but there's some meditative ideas for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very helpful, and it's interesting that you pointed out the preference and the attachment to the preference, because I have been thinking about that idea. I'm not, I had some sort of delusion. Oh, I'm not attached. Oh, yes, I guess I am attached to, how people treat me.
Well, duh. Are you? Have you grown up through a whole lifetime of people occasionally treating you crappily, and would you possibly have a little trauma around being treated badly? I think so.
Perhaps. Well, thank you. You've given me a few good pointers.
I do know that you had perfect parents, and that all your relationships have been smooth, and no one has ever acted out in really destructive, harmful ways towards you. I mean, I've known that much about you.
Never. Okay, thank you. You've given me some positive things to think about and try.
One more thought, that this is pretty darn maybe hypersensitive to that kind of thing. And it doesn't take much on Jennifer's part. Even just, actually, I can speak about my former partner, Nancy. This has been part of my life forever. That I don't like the people around me being angry. I'm phobic of that because I grew up with a lot of it. And that's the hypothesis anyway. And with Nancy, she would get angry at somebody unrelated to me, and I would feel like she's angry at me. And I was, of course, doing therapy and working on myself. And we got to a point where I would say, "Are you angry at me?" And where she would respond, "For Christ's sake, if you ask me that one more time, I will be angry at you." No. So it's a big stuck spot for many of us. And So good luck, my dear.
Andrea, can I say something about just as a reflection? This is Jamie. Good morning.
Hi, Jamie.
This-
Are you going to
Hi.
share something about you?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So this last week, someone in my life was really ugly to me, like just gross. You know, it's like 50-year-old man acting like a 5-year-old. Just really, wow, saying really ugly things and hurtful things. And I was really thankful in that moment to be able to just sort of look at, like Robert says, to just watch the show, both of what's going on and hear while this person's saying these yucky things to me, and also just thinking about, like, what is it like to be that person right now that needs to be doing that? You know, what's it like to need to treat someone else that way? And what are they dealing with? Just like the poem he read, this, you know, peaceful and stuff, but like, where in my life do I act like a 5-year-old? And it just gives me some sort of, like, I think, Sandra.
Can I out what you do for work?
Sure.
One of the people who deals with oil points out where they are violating environmental regulations. And so she, of course, runs into some pretty yucky circumstances. So
You know, I just have to clarify. It wasn't to facilitate the best experience that person could have when they're watching what I do for a living. You know, which is verify compliance. Here to show, you know, what I do, and then it's just
that does.
with this person, and it's just.
And the story gets the attachment. I'm doing such a good job. I'm trying so hard. Right?
That's the strongest feeling. It's not fair. I did my.
Very important.
Good morning. Sandra's situation and a difficult legal process. So I've been dealing with lawyer to me. I take it a second as per your instructions. And when it pisses her off. And it's so, and to be able to do that is just like, but to be able to take that second of like, okay, I'm having that feeling, is just so wonderful. And I hope that remembering to be present and to do is just so great. So thank you. No, I'm pro se, which is why she's calling me.
Saying, you need to talk to my counsel. Goodbye.
It'll all be over.
Hi, do you mind? 37 years with a lot of people around me all the time, and a soft answer turneth away wrath, assertive sometimes. Like, and they enjoyed power. So I have a friend who's very interesting in that and I'm not sure how to bring it to her attention, but in her mind, she's giving a reasonable response to other people to figure out how to respond. Anyway.
Thank you. Several people who've spoken deeply, who shares, well, I'm involved in a legal circumstance and there's big stuff happening in so many of them. And person's living a real life. And that's the truth for all of us. I meditated today. This is my 412th. And am I practicing? And I want to be awake to do it. Before I get on that, David Butler, be kind for everyone you meet. The Dalai Lama at the kind, starting with ourselves. Really wants or needs to be spoken before we go.
I grew up in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, around the tools we have from our practice. So I'm in to Sarah Bellum's bakery this Saturday and see us make cups because we have a barn raising going on at PI.
Bellum Bakery. One more day.
Get to go, but I won't see you all for a while.
And I, of course, having just been there, none of this sympathetic joy business. Enjoy.
Thank you.
There's a huge lizard there. In that restaurant you said to go to on, I don't know about gender. Anyway, he then proceeded to climb a tree over the tables, up in the tree, and it was wild. Who knew that much could come down from a lizard in a tree? So caution about the lizards.
I guess that was a really good restaurant recommendation then, wasn't it?
It was a great place, really. We did. I stayed there for most of the morning. Yeah, they have nice chairs that hang down, like wicker chairs, and I sat in one of those for a long time. All right, let us, on that happy, weird note, let us sing our way out of here. You ready? Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Bye, Brother David.
Goodbye, Brother Had.
So long, dear friends.
Be well. Be well, be well, be well, everyone. Have a fantastic
Bye,
trip.
everyone.
Enjoy yourself.
Bon voyage. Travel speed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be well, everyone.
Bye, B.
Tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Beautiful people.
Goodbye, Jamie. Hi, Aaron.
Safe travels, B.
Thank you, Jamie.
Be well, Denny.
Thank you.